Coming up, we have stories about watch my baby but don't change their diaper. Changing rooms after college. Who gets the smaller room? New type of story. OP saw an exchange between feuding co-parents. Why is there always someone trying to upstage a bride at weddings? Adding on an entire house for your growing family. Housewarming gifts gone wrong. And a heartwarming story. Bride has an entire village show up for her. 3-year channelversary stream coming up August 20th, starting at 3 p.m. Central. Mark your flipping calendars. You do not want to miss this. It is going to be awesome. We've got all new stuff coming in. We got some new animations. We got some big things planned here. We got some new swag dropping that day. We got some things. Am I the astronaut for changing my niece's diaper and then saying I'd never watch her again? I'm 18 male, and the people relevant here are my sister, 24 female, my niece, 1 female, and my mom, 50s female. My sister was over with my niece a few days ago. The 4 of us all went to lunch and it was nice. Sister then came back to the house to hang out more. My mom mentioned going to a cafe near our house for coffee or ice cream. I said I'll pass, but my sister wanted to go. She asked me if I wouldn't mind watching my niece and I happily said yes. Said they'd be gone no more than an hour and a half. Soon after they left, I realized my niece's diaper was dirty, so I changed her. We then went for a walk around the neighborhood and came back and started watching a movie. My mom and sister returned after 2 hours, which didn't bother me at all because I love spending time with my niece. Sister asked if she had been good, and I said yes, and told her what we did, and also mentioned that she had pooped because I thought parents ought to know that kind of stuff about their babies. My sister was like, oh, okay, I'll change her now. And I told her I already did over an hour ago. She looked absolutely horrified, said I should not have done that, and crossed a boundary. I was genuinely confused. My sister has never acted like this before. I asked why, and she said that a man shouldn't be changing a girl's diaper. She went on to say that even her own husband, niece's dad, only changes her in emergencies. So I'll red flag that. I asked if she would rather I let her sit in a dirty diaper, and she didn't respond. They left soon after this, and my sister was like, I'm not mad anymore, but ask me before doing that, like next time, okay? I told her there wouldn't be a next time and I wouldn't be watching my niece again. I said I'm not watching a child if I have to ask whether it's okay for me to change their diaper. If a child under my care has a dirty diaper, I'm changing it, so I won't watch her again. She left, upset. Time out because I have to check sister's age real quick. 24. OP is 18, sister's 24. My mom was witness to all this, but stayed quiet. When my sister left, I asked what she thought. She said I absolutely did nothing wrong, but that she also understands where sister is coming from. I feel gross about the whole thing. Makes me feel weird that my sister acted this way about my changing a literal diaper. I love kids and I'm going to college for a career in healthcare and will literally be working with children, some of which diapers I will undoubtedly be changing. And this isn't even a matter of not knowing how to properly change diapers for female anatomy. My girlfriend and I babysit her little cousins probably at least every other week, and I have learned to change their diapers if needed, male or female. TLDR, I changed my niece's diaper while babysitting and she got upset with me. I told her I wouldn't be babysitting for her again. Okay, am I the astronaut? She made it weird, and we, as parents, if you place your child in someone's care, changing diapers is part of that all-encompassing care. You drop them off at preschool, you leave them with a sitter, there's an expectation, you grant them the authority to change your kid's diaper.
Yeah.
And later on, when they're potty training, you also grant them the ability to like help them wipe if they use the potty. Otherwise, your kid's going to have a cakey crack and then have a lot of diaper rash and potentially other health issues. So
there's so much wrong that could happen if you let your baby niece sit in poop for over an hour. Like, that is just a recipe for disaster. So I think the bottom line is don't leave your child with someone if they're in diapers who you don't want changing that diaper. I mean, that's the bottom line. If you don't want him to change the diaper, then don't leave your child with them. You should have taken your child to the cafe, because if you're gone for 2 hours, like, there's a good chance that a 1-year-old is going to need changed. And I think no matter what the reason for you feeling this way, if this is your choice, don't leave your baby with someone who you don't want changing their diaper.
Yeah.
And it can lead to so many problems letting a baby sit in there's no f***ing way.
So
I let my child sit.
There's something that caused this, something that started. Denise, your comment on the TikTok or on the YouTube side was, so Mom, do you change a boy's diaper, or would you change a boy's diaper? And like Dad not doing it, like something that happened in their immediate family made it weird. What made it weird?
Right.
Let's talk about that. Like that needs to be the conversation that they have, and they figure that out where it got weird. And maybe this was hubby's way of, hubby was playing dumb so he wouldn't have to do it, or hubby made it weird so he wouldn't have to do it. It's a possibility, but it doesn't make any sense.
There's so many things that could have led to this, and I see, like SA and chat, and there are so many things that could have led to this, but I think the brother saying, I'm not going to watch my niece again, and I do think that she made it weird. She either has some kind of trauma in her past, she has something going on that makes her believe this, or husband made her believe that men shouldn't be changing. Whatever it is that led her to this point, she has to address or not let people that she is uncomfortable with changing the diaper watch her kid.
Yeah.
Because
you don't get to
make a situation like this with your brother.
Right.
And make it you cross a line when you do this, and you also don't get to have someone watch your kid and expect them to sit and pee or poop for over 2 hours.
Because
that's unhealthy.
She's got a conflicting belief. She has a belief that her 18-year-old brother is perfectly okay to watch her child, just not like truly fully care for the child. And there's a conflict there that doesn't make any sense.
I understand where OP is coming from and saying, I don't want to do this again because you're putting me in a spot that is completely uncomfortable, man to child, and I get that. And so I think I would step aside too, because that's just a rocky road and a dark path, and I wouldn't want to go down it either.
I mean, the bottom line is he would have to accept that if he's going to watch her again, he has to be willing to let this kid sit and poop.
That's what I'm saying. I would not do it. There's so many things that could go wrong, and not to mention what the sister is saying, like that can turn dark really quick, and then the health. So I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
I would not.
I agree. Am I the astronaut for asking parents to force sister to give me her room? I am a 23 female, a year out of college, and for 6 months I have lived at home with my parents because I lucked into a great job in our town. My younger sister is 21 and has 2 years left of university across the country. My bedroom is very small, and there's not enough room for anything besides a full-size bed and a dresser in front of it. My sister's room, while still relatively small, is double the size of mine and has much higher ceilings, and the way it's shaped just makes it much easier to arrange and move around in. Additionally, the location of her room in relation to our parents' room affords her much more privacy. Mine is directly across from theirs, and they don't have a door, just a sliding wood panel that doesn't shut all the way, so it can feel awkward and claustrophobic. Especially since our cat likes to sleep with me, so I can never shut my door. My sister spends the majority of her time across the country, even during the summer. She's home about 7 weeks out of the year, so I thought it was reasonable to ask her and my parents if we could swap. I understand the attachment she has to her space, and since I only plan on being here for another year and a half, I proposed that I would use it for that time and we could switch back when I leave. I wouldn't change any of the furniture or decorations. They're beautiful. My mom put a lot of time into the room. I just asked that we switch out all of our things for that time period. When I initially brought it up a few months ago, she was open to it, but then abruptly changed her mind and refused. I love her to death, but anytime I bring it up, she shuts down and refuses to have a conversation about it. So I asked my parents to force the issue. My dad is on my side, but my mom does not want to hear it. She gets mad anytime I have brought it up, so a discussion can't even be had. She thinks I'm being ridiculous and refuses to even acknowledge my points, and my dad has now backtracked. Time out real quick. For a red flag. Also, you said your sister abruptly decided that she was opposed to it and decided to shut it down and now gets mad anytime you bring it up. It's kind of seeming like all that stuff stems from mom. Just a thought. I brought it up the other night in a very even-keeled fashion, and everyone, including him, got mad at me for starting something at a bad time. And bringing it up with my sister just has a few weeks to spend with us. But that's my point. She is never here except to visit, never for longer than a month. I have a full-time professional job and live with them. My family is very tight-knit. My parents parents want me to stay as long as possible with them. I would move out, but I live in a very expensive city. I feel like I'm being ignored and like there is very obviously a favorite child. They refuse to do anything, and my mom justifies it by using my sister's feelings, which hurts mine because she doesn't even acknowledge that there is any validity to my feelings. Genuinely, it makes me sad to think about, especially since they say they want me to be comfortable and at home here as an adult. Am I the asshole? Would I be the asshole if I tried to bring it up again? What do I do? Additional info, OP mentions that she initially chose the smaller room since she would be leaving for college soon, and her sister had 2 more years of high school left. OP was voted YTA on Reddit. Thoughts?
So I read this and I felt like it was like super reasonable. She's going to be gone before the younger sister even gets back from college. And so I was confused on why, and like the comments were like, you're the asshole, you're the asshole, you're the asshole. And I was like, I feel like it's an NTA. Like that's a reasonable request. Like and that's why I used the story tonight, because I was genuinely shocked. I'm like, I think that's, and if I was in that position as the other sister, I would be like, yeah, use the room while you're living here full time and I'm only here part of the time. Like, I don't understand. I see where she keeps bringing it up, but I'm like, she's on a time crunch because sister is leaving and she obviously wants her blessing to switch rooms. I don't know. Like, I was completely dumbfounded by the comments on this one, because I was like, this is a clear NTA and a clear, like, yeah, that makes total sense in my head. If this was our kids, I'd be like, and she's not asking to move her stuff. She's not asking to like do any of this thing. So I didn't know if I was missing something on this.
I don't think so. It all stems from mom. And Rain, saw your comment on the YouTube side. That makes perfect sense. It's like sister doesn't own the house. It's not sister's room to give, right? It is a choice of the parents.
I wonder, yeah.
So what is mom's opposition to it? Where does that stem from? If it's some kind of emotional attachment, maybe it sounds like more of a control issue to me. Like she wants to be the one. Since it was not mom's idea, ain't nobody doing it, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
For whatever reason there, but OP, I think the trying to force part of it was a misplay. I don't think you're an asshole for doing it. I'm NTA, all in on you, but I think you have to think about this a little bit differently. I understand you say you can't move out because it's a very expensive city, and I'm sure that you're contemplating
and
what
they
a
want her
roommate
there.
would look like. Yes, they want her there.
That's very specific.
Another tick in the box for the control on mom's part here. But here would be the angle I would play. Offer to pay rent for the larger room. Offer to pay rent for the larger room. If for no other reason, she may show her hand and reveal the real reason why she's opposed to this in the first place. But if you offer to pay rent, either for the larger room or for some improvements to be made to the area that you are in, I think you at least force some kind of action on their point, and it at least shows them that you're serious. And if you're offering to pay rent here, the alternative, if they say no to your request, is for you to start looking for a roommate and go somewhere else. And if they really want control of you and want you there, they're more likely to try to appease that request than deal with you leaving.
Those were my exact thoughts. I'm like, if this is me and I'm in a room across from my parents at 23 years old and they're like, no, stay here, stay here. Well, I mean, you can't even have people over. Like, stay here. I want you to live here, but stay here and be completely uncomfortable and have no space.
Stay here the way I want you.
So, I mean, I would be gone. And Elise said, I feel like mom is having a hard time accepting her baby is leaving. And I think that's a good point. And maybe that's it. But like, let's communicate our feelings, and maybe she will after daughter leaves. But by then I feel like it would be, I don't know. It's a weird situation, but I agree. I think my thing would be to find a roommate and move out.
I watched the nastiest public exchange between co-parents and found the mom on Facebook and filled her in about what happened after she left. We're on vacation. Ran to Target to get bottled water. As we walk in, my youngest decides he needs to go number 2. I'm waiting when I witness the most uncomfortable situation. Now, I've actually done supervised exchanges for parenting time as a profession. Yet, a dad, early 30s, and his wife, early 20s, are waiting by the dollar spot. The mom, early 30s, walks in. First, he gets an attitude and is like, I don't know why we have to meet in public. And the ex says, because the judge ordered it. She takes the baby, infant, out of the car seat and hands him to the dad. Then hands over a cooler bag and starts to explain about the breast milk. He rudely interrupts her and says he knows we went through this last time. She says yes, but she doesn't think he did it right because the baby came back with an upset stomach. He says it's all in your head, you're trying to make me look bad to the judge. The new wife was sugary sweet and said she's got it. Mom says she thinks 3 months is too young for overnight visits and leaves, clearly struggling. The second she walks away, the new wife dumps the breast milk into the big garbage can. She says, I refuse to give our baby another woman's milk.
It ain't your baby.
The entire situation was just so gross. His tone, the way as soon as she left, the new woman's tone changed and she called her a bitch. The whole exchange was just so nasty. Additional info, based on the convo, I'm assuming he cheated when she was early pregnant. It might be his girlfriend, not his wife. She had a ring on, so I assumed wife, but maybe fiancé? Please don't judge me, but I snapped a photo of the a-hole in question. I requested to join the two moms group in the area I found based on recommendations from commenters. Once approved, I'm going to post his photo. Also, based on the convo, it's a 72-hour visit, not a week. But still, in all the years I worked for family court, we never say an overnight exchange at 3 months. Also, nothing the dad did is illegal or I would have reported it. Sadly, dad can give the baby whatever formula he wants during his time. As long as the baby is fed, it's not abuse by the legal definition, which is Top comment on this one. The way I would have yelled, ma'am, that woman just threw away your breast milk, said your baby is hers, and called you a bitch. The whole store would have heard my ass. There is an update before we get into that.
It enraged me. I'm reading this and I'm like, find her now, find the mom. And also, like, as soon as I read early 30s mom, early 30s dad,
early
younger
20s
wife, ring on finger, I'm like, he cheated. He cheated while she was pregnant. Like, that's where my mind went. And so I was like, find her. And I'm so glad people were like, I never even thought moms groups to find this woman and tell her what happened, because it's so hard to breastfeed, to pump milk, especially that much milk. Do you know how much sleep that woman lost to get that milk to those people to take care of her child?
And not just that, but like for a baby to go from breastfed to formula like that, of course is going to create stomach issues.
And to go back and forth like that when they're with mom to breastfeed and then with dad formula like that, if that is best. But when someone is handing you breast milk that they have exclusively pumped for their child, like those people for throwing it away, because that is the like black hole shit that you could do.
Poor baby.
And this woman has no choice because he chose to screw someone else.
Yeah. And
then leave her.
Right?
And now she has to spend time away from her infant.
I can't imagine being in her shoes and having to hand over my 3-month-old with a really strong gut feeling that she's not going to be taken care of and there not be a thing that I could do about it. No. I would not handle it well.
And the fact that this happened, happened, like we don't have to speculate on it being a Reddit story. Like this is just enrages the shit out of me, because I can't imagine being this despicable of a human being to do this to.
Oh, all over ego. It's ego, right? That's the only thing driving the boat there. All right, here's the update. I found the mama. We were able to connect via phone call earlier, and she was incredibly grateful. She'll be going to Target to see about camera footage. She's also making a pediatrician appointment for the day she picks up, tomorrow. Thanks for the suggestion to put it in the mommy groups. It was actually her sister-in-law, brother-sister, who recognized her a-hole brother and contacted mom. P.S. They were married, recently divorced. The other woman is fiancé and homewrecker and mom's first cousin. Talk about drama. Here's another update. Second update on the dumped breast milk situation. The mom, Sarah, fake name, picked up her son and took him to the pediatrician. The doctor wrote a note stating it is detrimental to the infant, Micah, fake name, to have 4 days of exclusive breast milk and then 3 days of formula. Also, he has acid reflux and a possible protein allergy. Micah has a bad rash and diarrhea. She texted him a copy of the note and he responded back that he did give Micah the breast milk, and why would she think otherwise? She confronted him, all via text, and he denied it. However, she doesn't believe him. She has filed for an emergency motion and hired a lawyer. She gave me permission to post updates as long as I don't use her real name. Sarah says it might help another mom in a similar situation. Honestly, she's pretty badass. She is keeping a low social media profile so her ex can't use it against her. Imagine if she's able to get her hands on that footage, huh? Imagine.
Also, this was mom's cousin. That woman standing there was her cousin. Oh my, I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know how. I just don't understand how a court would do this. Like, I don't understand how someone could do this to another human being and just take their child away because they chose to fuck somebody else. Like, I don't understand it.
No, a serious question here. And I guess, according to the court, it's their child, not her child. But I think when the baby is like until X amount of time, there's got to be a time when it, like 6 months old. I don't know what it is, but like this baby is too young. Too young. What was it? 3 weeks or 3 months?
3 months.
3 months. Okay. My gosh.
Right.
Serious question though. If you have an eyewitness, do you need the footage?
That's some people were saying that she should like write everything down, timestamp it.
Yeah.
Use it as an affidavit for the mom and her attorney. And she had lots of suggestions. I think lots of people are probably following this story. I don't know what else will come of it. I don't know what will happen. But like, I'm so glad that the person that saw this was someone who knew what was going on. Like knew that they'd been in that position. They'd supervised exchanges and visits before. So they knew what was happening. Right. I do know that they are in, I think, Florida. So I don't know if that has I don't know any of the law and like how that works, obviously. I don't know anything about it. So I couldn't speculate onto how that works. But
man,
I do hope that something comes of like that situation, and to call it like their baby, the cheater and cheater ex-husband, to say like our baby. I don't want to give our baby some other woman's milk like that. What they're gonna do to that child growing up, like the mentality of it is just crazy.
Sending them all the way to the black hole where they will both be pumping breast milk for eternity. Of course, neither one of them are producing, so they're just gonna bleed. But it's good forever. Am I the astronaut for refusing to let my mom wear white to my wedding, even though she claims it's her last chance to feel beautiful?
NTA.
I just turned 23 and I'm getting married in October. My mom and I have always had what I would refer to as a rocky relationship, especially since I got engaged. She's been oddly competitive, commenting on my body, comparing our rings like we're in a competition, saying things like, "This day is as much about me as it is about you."
Is it?
Boop. Red flags. I honestly thought she was joking until she showed me the dress she bought. A white floor-length gown that looks exactly like a bridal dress. Boop. And I told her flat out she cannot wear that because in my opinion it doesn't match the occasion. She got quiet, then burst into tears saying this was an opportunity to feel beautiful before getting old. And that I'm selfish for not letting her have this one thing. I felt really bad about this, so I also offered to go shopping with her to find something elegant and more appropriate. And all of a sudden, her countenance changed, and then she told me I was controlling and ungrateful. What gave me peace was that my fiancé backed me up, as did my maid of honor. Now my mom is threatening not to come to the wedding, and my aunt says I should just let her have this to avoid drama. I don't think I'm wrong for drawing a line here. Now, part of me wonders, am I the astronaut? Really, OP? Really?
I think the aunt saying, let her have this, has been said her entire life. And then when it wasn't the aunt, it was the husband, dad. And so now she just believes she's entitled to everything because then everyone is always just, let her have this one
just
thing.
Let her have this one. Or maybe the aunt here, hear me out for just a second, because aunt would be her sister, right? Maybe her aunt was at the shit end of that stick for long enough to know that there's no point in fighting this.
I would just say that don't come.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to come because you can't
wear a
yeah, then no come because clearly you're not here to support my day.
No, I think she'd make it about herself 100%.
Would. She already is. She just said this day is as much about me as it is about you.
That doesn't even make sense.
What
Mom.
the fuck?
That doesn't even, it's not.
Here's how we know that's not true, Ma. If you don't show up, the day's still gonna happen. If I don't show up, the day doesn't happen.
That was good. Break eye contact. It's
I
getting
can't.
It's getting.
It's stuck. Thank you. Am I the astronaut for building my teenage sons a bedroom in the backyard? I have so many questions. My wife and I have 5 children together. 9 male, 8 male, 7 male, 4 male, 2 male. Oh my goodness. All boys. And I have 3 children with my ex-wife. 17 male, 15 male, 13 female. Ooh, 1 girl, and she's 13. Out of all of those 8 kids. When I bought our current house, it had 4 bedrooms. I later renovated the basement to add another 2 bedrooms. My wife and I have 1 room. The 3 teenagers had a room each, and the younger boys shared the other 2 rooms with various configurations over the years. As the younger boys got older, things are going to get more cramped for them, and we haven't ruled out having more kids. What? I also don't want to immediately take my older kids' rooms away the second they go to college, and maybe they'll stay local or not go at all. Because of this, I started looking at how I would add more bedrooms. The property our house is on is a little under 1 acre. Last year, I decided I would build a den in the backyard that could become the older boys' bedrooms. The build was finished a few weeks ago, and the boys have moved in. They have a small shared living space that includes a kitchenette, a shared bathroom, and they each have their own rooms. It's essentially a tiny house in our yard. Hell yeah, the boys love it, and we had a lot of fun working on the build together. My ex-wife, however, is less than pleased with the boys' new living arrangements. She has multiple safety concerns, as she thinks they're too far away if something happens, and that they will feel like they could get away with whatever, as I can't monitor them well. She also thinks it's unfair that they have to walk through a yard to get to and from their bedrooms to the house, even in adverse weather conditions. She feels as though I'm pushing the boys away by housing them in the backyard, and that it suggests I'm prioritizing my new family, while at the same time thinking giving them a cool den in the backyard is favoring them over their sister. Well, which is it? I think her biggest issue is the one she didn't mention, which is worrying the boys will want to spend even more time at my house if they have more privacy and a great place to hang with their friends. We no longer split custody based on our custody agreement, and for the last few years, the boys have lived the majority of the time with me, whereas our daughter alternates between the houses every 2 weeks. My ex is trying to make it out like I'm a massive asshole in this situation, but I don't really feel like I am. However, in the past, I haven't always known when I have been the asshole, so maybe I'm missing something. Am I the astronaut? Hold, please. Small golf clap for OP here, for at least acknowledging that, like, I've been the asshole in the past and didn't know it until somebody pointed it out to me and showed me how. And at least being open to that, I know the feeling. I do. I know that feeling. I know that feeling well. What do you think it is, Tater? Because I feel like this is mom angry because she thinks they're going to choose to spend more time over there. Maybe a couple of her concerns are valid, but it's not valid enough for her to throw this amount of fuel into them.
Yeah, I think it's and their ages, I saw some people asking, are 17 and 15. Those are the 2 boys that are in the detached bedrooms. Obviously the kids are getting older, and so if they do end up going to college and living there and staying at home, it's a cool setup for them.
It's freaking great.
Like me, someone who was getting ready to graduate high school, would love the setup. That would be really cool to have your space and be able to still like have the proximity to your family. But I understand like the sneaking out aspect and those kind of things, but I mean,
they're 15 and 17.
But they're going to sneak out. If they want to sneak out, they're going to sneak out of the house. So it doesn't really, I wouldn't give too much thought to that, but they don't have a lot of area. Like they're right next to the house is what I understand. So
it can't be that far away.
Yeah. I would go NTA. I think this is going to pay off really well for them in the next 2 years as they graduate high school, the 2 youngest.
Agreed.
I would just set up a camera in the backyard.
Boom. There you go.
And not in the apartment thing that he's built.
No, but so you can monitor the exterior and be able to see when they come and go and make sure that it's, not on fire or anything. And there you go. Also, like you can extend your smart home stuff to that area as well. If it's not far enough away, you could run Ethernet over and have its own hardwired connection to be able to do all the smart home things. So they could still have like their assistants and fire alarms and all the things. You're just separated by a little bit of grass. It sounds like she's trying to use, what are understandable concern, like what ifs, but using them as like solid evidence that this shouldn't be doing. And a lot of people are like, ask the boys. The boys love it. We know they love it.
They had input on the build. I think
they helped build it.
So I think they're excited about it. And I think he is right. I do think it's probably a little bit of jealousy because it wasn't something that she could provide, and maybe they do prefer to have their own space. They're teenage boys. Like I understand it, but I still believe if the sneaking out thing, like if they want to do it, they're going to do it, whether it's from a bedroom window, the front door, or wherever. Yeah. They're going to find a way to sneak out if they want to sneak out.
Yeah, so absolutely. I think it's. I'm definitely NTA on dad here. Yeah. My bigger concern is mom, like, and where this comes from, and man, you know, dad doesn't seem like he has a problem with the current arrangement and daughter flipping every 2 weeks back and forth. But as a dad, that would be my one thing, would be like the fact that I did this for them, did that make her feel away? And they're here all the time by their choice. So, you know, that it's utilized more often, but, you know, do I need to talk to her and make sure that see if she wants to switch rooms? She has her own room already, but, you know, does she need a different room? Is there something that she would rather have that would make her more comfortable here? What are her feelings about this?
Yeah, I agree.
So there's the big question for me is, I know the boys love it. What does my daughter think about this? My 13-year-old daughter that my ex is now saying I've shown favoritism over. Let me talk to her and see what her feelings are about it, and then try to solve that problem. That's the only problem I have. That's it.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. Am I the astronaut for telling my sister it hurt to be one of the only guests left out of her thank you speech at her housewarming? Last weekend, my older sister invited me to her housewarming party. She just bought her first home with her boyfriend, and it's been her dream for years, so I was genuinely happy for her. She told me to come casual and that it was just going to be the snacks, drinks, and a small group of family and close friends. When I got there, I realized it was actually more of a fancy dinner party. Everyone was dressed up, the table was set with name cards, and there was a full 3-course meal being served. I felt completely underdressed in my jeans and sweater, but I tried to brush it off and not make a big deal about it. Here's where things got weird. When it came time for dessert, her boyfriend got up to thank everyone for coming, and then my sister stood up and said she wanted to honor the guests who supported them most. She started handing out little gift bags to a few people at the table. Each one had a bottle of wine and a personalized thank you card. My name was not called. Neither was our younger brother's. It was awkward because everyone else at the table turned to look at us and just smiled and clapped like it didn't matter. But honestly, it hurt. I've been there for her through so much, helping her move twice, lending her money when she was short on rent, and even watching her dog for weeks when she went on vacation. I did not expect anything in return, but being singled out as one of the only people not acknowledged in front of everyone felt humiliating. When I got home, I sent her a message saying I was happy for her, but the way she did the honor thing felt hurtful. She replied saying it wasn't that deep, and I was making it about me. She also said she couldn't give something to everyone and picked people based on who helped most during the house purchase process specifically, not over the years. I haven't replied yet, but now I'm wondering if I overreact and made her special night about my feelings. Am I the astronaut for feeling slighted and telling her so? Okay, this is an interesting one. So I think there's 2 separate questions here. Am I the astronaut for feeling slighted? Can't be the astronaut for feeling something, right?
Right.
What about for telling her so?
I probably would not have said anything. But it is weird to me that you tell someone that's a casual event, snacks and drinks, and then you show up and there's place cards and a 3-course meal.
It's a setup.
To me, that feels weird. And then when it comes time to thank people, there's gifts for everyone except for you and your brother. Like it felt, in my opinion, very intentional. And I would be hurt by the fact that I was lied to about what the event was and by the weirdness of it. But I probably would not have said anything. I would just be very mindful of it next time and moving forward with our relationship. But that's kind of how I operate. So
yeah.
I don't know what you would resolve by speaking on this because you have to know how she is at this point. Right?
I would think so. And even if you don't know how she is at this point, the context clue of being intentionally misinformed and set up about the attire for this event means everything was intentional about this. And that means that you pointing it out and saying that you were hurt is only fulfilling her mission.
I agree. You're just giving her what she wanted.
I would not give her that satisfaction.
For some reason, but keep it in the back of your mind and know, use it to your advantage.
Burn me once.
That this is how she is, this is how she acts, and this is how she's going to treat you. So think about that the next time that she is specifically asking you for something or specifically inviting you to something. Yeah. Like I would be very cautious with how I proceeded with the relationship because I don't like playing games like that. Exactly. It does not. It burns my biscuits, and I don't like it. I don't know if that's the right thing.
But sure. But in this case, I think that saying anything just fuels the motive for her. It fuels the fun. She probably gets off on knowing that she hurt you, right?
Do you think it's...
But there was one other person that this happened to, their younger brother.
Right. And I want to know how much he helped sister before she bought her house, because it kind of felt like a show off. Look at what I've done, but I didn't need my family. I'm trying to impress my friends. But I also want to feel better than the people who helped me when they knew I was short on rent. They knew I was struggling. So these are the people that helped her when she was down in the trenches. These are the people that helped her move into this new house. So it's kind of like
she just did it
I don't
to
want to
show
acknowledge
that she's outgrown them.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to acknowledge that you were there for me when no one else was. I just want to be. I don't know. It's just messy.
Then why invite them? And that's
to put them in their place.
You have to put them in their place and to show her friends that she's moved. I don't know. It is intentional though. You just don't gain anything by speaking up in that case.
No.
Now the one person I would talk to would be your younger brother, the only other person that this happened to, and be like, hey, did you feel any kind of way about that?
It's shisty.
And yeah, you two kind of, I think you could talk to each other about it and come to an understanding, and you just keep that in the mental Rolodex for next time and make sure that you understand where she's at now, which sucks, but. My fiancée, 24 female, has no bridesmaids, and it's making her so upset she wants to call off the wedding. How can I, 25 male, help? My fiancée and I are recently engaged and have been together since we were 18. She's not the bridezilla type, but she has imagined a nice wedding. She's not very social and has no sisters or female cousins, and as a result, she has no bridesmaids. 0. I, on the other hand, have a solid group of boys to be groomsmen, and they're already talking about a bachelor party. My fiancé won't have a bridal shower or bachelorette party or anyone to go dress shopping with, etc. It's really bringing her down, and she won't even talk about weddings. Once she said between sniffles, can we just sign a paper at a courthouse? But I know neither of us really want that. I have suggested having my sisters and cousins as bridesmaids, but they don't really know her well and likely wouldn't want to. How can I help her? Relevant comments. You can have a nice wedding without bridesmaids and groomsmen. There are plenty of options between that traditional scenario and just signing a paper at the courthouse. I thought about that. Like, if she doesn't have bridesmaids, you can't have groomsmen. I understand your boys are still going to do the bachelor party and all the things, but like you can't. OP says, I'm thinking that'll be my only option. I just don't want my fiance to feel lonely. Another comment. I wonder if she was really joking about signing the paper at the courthouse. Personally, I've always envisioned having a discreet wedding like that. One idea for compromise would be to just have you two and witnesses at the courthouse, then have a larger reception or party where the lack of bridesmaids wouldn't be so obvious. Your friends could play some kind of special role even if they don't have a parallel on her side. OP says no, she wants a wedding. She's just been saying recently that she doesn't deserve one. Damn. Before the update, let's chat about this for a second. So even if OP chose not to have groomsmen at the ceremony, it is the dress shopping, it's
all of it.
It's all of it. It's all the things. It's not just the ceremony that matters here.
It's feeling like you don't have anyone in your corner. And I'm glad that she has her soon-to-be husband. But yeah, I mean, it's that feeling of lonely, like that feeling of people not showing up for you. And it sucks. It sucks. It's hard. I think it's hard to make friends in school, even harder to make friends as an adult. So I think anyone has probably been in this position at least one point in their life where they felt like they didn't have anyone that would show up for them. And it's a shitty place to be in. It's a shitty place. It's just a shitty thing to feel. Yeah. And so I feel for his fiance and the way that she must feel in this situation, especially at her wedding day.
Yeah. God, I'm so jaded. So jaded. Because one of my first thoughts here was OP's a narcissist and has successfully secluded and siloed her from and she's isolated.
No.
So, yeah, she doesn't have anybody else because you've already isolated her. You have complete control over her.
You are jaded. Now read the update.
Okay. Update. Did not expect to update this fast. Did not expect to update at all unless something miraculous happened, and it did. In short, I have the best friends in the world. I read through a ton of these comments, but not all, over 1,000, and decided to look for my fiance's box of wedding planning stuff because I had a suspicion. Inside the box was all these magazine clippings of a big church wedding, flower ideas and stuff, and then I saw pictures of the dresses. They were all big, poofy, ornate things that don't seem akin to my fiance's style at all, but they're similar to the dresses my sisters wore at their weddings. Then it all sort of clicked for me. My fiance probably doesn't want a church wedding or any of these fancy trimmings. She's trying to win my family's favor. The hell? I really should have noticed this earlier and gotten more involved. I know. My fiance flew home on Thursday to spend a few days with her dad, Father's Day weekend and all, and I couldn't go because of work, so I was alone until this morning. So, real late at night, I called up my buddy Ravi, 26 male. Ravi's my best man. We've known each other since we were kids, split up when we went off to college, and reconnected 3 years ago. We moved to South Carolina so I could join the company he works for. I just opened up to Ravi. It was really late, but he listened to me anyway about my worries about my fiance. He said that it was very likely that she was trying to curry favor with my family, but she probably wasn't going to admit it that easily. He said he'd talk to her. I told him that he barely knows her. He said not to worry and that he'd be around tomorrow evening. What a buddy. He's like, oh, don't worry, I'll investigate this for you. And you're like, what the f-? He's like, I got it. My fiance came home happy. She always is after seeing her dad this morning. I went off to work without asking about the wedding, and she set off to work on her writing. She's off for the summer. I got home early, and at like 5 p.m., Ravi came to my house with my other good friends, Carson, Andrew, and Tim, 23 to 30 males. I know all these guys from various places, and we're all a solid group. Still, this was unexpected. Ravi came up to my fiance and said that the guys were taking her wedding dress shopping. We were both freaked out as hell. I had no idea this was coming, and my fiance looked like she wanted to crawl into a hole and die. She whispered to me, they won't like me. Is this you, Candy Thunder? This was written by Candy Thunder. And I urged her to just go for it. Ravi reminded her that he has sisters. Carson's been divorced, and Andrew has had his fair share of girlfriends, so they know dresses. Plus, he already has a lady friend that works at a small boutique where they'd try first. She still didn't want to go. And then he said something like, hey, you're marrying our best friend. Don't you think we should get to know you and make sure you're not a ghost or something? He's not great with tact. But she chuckled a little at that and gave in. They were gone for a while and came back an hour ago. They didn't find a dress, but they looked around at stores for a while, and fiance found a style she liked, not the poofy ball gown style. They also went out for ice cream, and when they walked in the door, she was joking and laughing with them all. I hadn't seen her so happy in a long time. It was amazing. Then we all sat down together, and Ravi asked her to talk to me about what's on her mind. I still don't know how they got her to open up. She whispered that she didn't really want the big church wedding, but she just wanted to wait a little while and plan a small ceremony for just the people we really care about. I was all for it, and I told her not to worry about bridesmaids or anything. It could just be us. She said no. She wants her dad, the guys, and my family to be there. Andrew, a kick-ass guitar player, said he'd put together a band for us. He asked my fiance what her favorite song is. He'd figure out an arrangement. This is the kind of question she usually dodges, but she blushed a little and actually told the truth. Panama by Van Halen, if anyone cares. Girl knows how to rock out. This was the real sign that she's starting to trust them. I don't think anyone knows her favorite song except me and her dad, who bought her Van Halen CDs growing up. I told her I'd call my family and tell them the church wedding's off. If they make a big stink about it, I don't care. I'm sorry. I have my bros and my beautiful future bride. That's all the family I need. Well, hot damn. Look at that. The bros came through in a very non-bro way. Like, what?
Isn't it just so sweet? Like, that's just so, like, I don't know. It just made me so happy.
This could be a romantic comedy movie. Like,
it's
easily.
So sweet. Yeah.
Easily could be a romantic comedy movie.
And this was from 2015, which I thought it's an older story, but
It's
I was
freaking
so,
awesome.
yeah, green flags. I see green flags all around.
Green flags all around.
100%. I don't know. I just read this and I went out and I was like, I found a heartwarming story amidst all the chaos.
Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, you can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content, and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.